In the assessment of diplopia, the eye which sees the external or outside image is the problem eye, i.e. the eye with the movement restriction. Many people struggle to understand why this is. Well, it's to do with the way light from the object projects onto the retina. First, let's look at this example of a normal situation. Someone fixating on an object right in front of them, a single object. In fact, this red star here. Light from the red star projects onto the fovea of the eyes concentrating on it, and the brain correctly interprets this as a single image straight ahead. Now, imagine another normal situation. There's two objects, a red star and a blue circle, at the side of this person's vision. I've asked this person to now fixate again on the red star, but there's also a blue circle lateral to it. This person can move their eyes normally. Now, you can see that the light from the red star, because the eyes are moving normally, still hits the fovea of both eyes. The light from the blue circle, which is lateral to the red star, the object of fixation, is hitting the side of the fovea in both eyes, like so. The brain, again correctly, interprets this, the red star in the middle, the fixation point, and a blue circle lateral to the red star. Now let's move to the pathological situations where there might be movement restriction in one eye. So here, we've asked the patient to look to the red star to the side of them, but we have a failure of adduction. This eye is failing to adduct. You have the normal eye, which is able to abduct fully. This means the light from the true object hits the fovea. You then have this eye, which has failed to adduct adequately, so it has movement restriction. And because that's happened, the light from the object no longer is hitting the fovea, but actually hits the retina to the side of the fovea. Now, the brain doesn't know that the eye hasn't moved. Instead, the brain interprets this light as having come from a second object lateral to the true object. And hence the patient sees two stars. You have the true image in the normal eye and another false image which is seen with the problem eye. This is your diplopia. Now let's look at the pathological situation where you have the opposite problem, failure of abduction in the other eye. The eye is able to adduct correctly. The light from the star is able to hit the fovea. This gives you the true image. Now this eye has failed to abduct. And you can see that again, what happens is that the light from the image, from the object, is now hitting the side of the retina to the side of the fovea. And it's hitting it at a place which the brain interprets as having come from an object just lateral to the red star, the true fixated object. This is the projected line of sight. So it's all to do with projected line of sight, whether it's an abduction failure or an adduction failure, or a depression or elevation failure, or an intorsion or extorsion failure. The result is always the same. The light from the true object always hits the retina of the problem eye next to the fovea, which results in the brain interpreting it, this projected line of sight, interpreting it as light coming from a second object that is lateral to the true object. And this is why it is always the problem eye, the one with the movement restriction, which gives you the lateral image in diplopia. I do hope that makes things clearer. My channel also has a video on how to examine eye movements.